Hello friends and enemies. Welcome to or back to Happy for Now. It's me as well here with your Romancelandia for July. I don't know what I need to do, but I've got to figure out my little summoning spell circle to bring good energy to the space because y'all, this year it just keeps ramping up and continuing, and I don't know that it's going to slow down, and I hate it for us because I would love a quiet month. I think we all would love a quiet month. A month where I can just read my books in peace and not think, oh no, there's another one down. Although I will say I have a pretty good streak so far for authors that have behaved badly in Romancelandia that I have never wanted to read. And one of those authors is the first person we're going to be talking about because my goodness. So first of all, we gotta talk about Jessa Hastings because this kind of ties into what we talked about last month with the AI situation with Mariana doing that AI ad and all the other things happening on BookTok area, the big three situation, all of that. Jessa Hastings took to her Instagram stories like usual. This woman loves an Instagram story. And we have to remember too, a couple months back, Jessa Hastings got fussed at for wanting to do an AI based account for her characters on Instagram. People were like, we would love this, but no, because AI, right? And she was like, how dare you ruin what I want to do? How dare you critique AI? Well, she's back. She was back with another round of this. Basically, this is the first story she posted, and at the end of this, I'm going to summarize it, and then I'll put up a chunk of segment where you can just read it if you want. She went to Instagram stories, though, and is just like, how dare you be mean to the nicest people I know, and basically these fans of my book, be real, fans of my book, how dare you be mean to them? BookTok's full of hate and all of this, and that people are just using virtue signaling to bully and harass these people, and they're revolting, and you're revolting for it. And then she posted that we're all self-righteous because we use AI and don't realize it, unlocking your phone with your face, fingerprint recognition, basically every kind of assistive, not generative AI there is. How dare you use a spam filter? It's borderline comical to me, the things she put in here, to be honest with you. She also says, thank God you're Magellan when it comes to navigation, because, why are you using maps? Listen, I understand being upset this creator that, loves your books is getting attacked. But also, I think this just doubles down into a lot of the issues I personally have with Jessa Hastings as an author. And then the fact that we cannot differentiate generative versus assistive AI. Generative AI takes things like her book, like Jessa Hastings' books, like her weird covers she made herself before they got republished. Honestly, now I'm kind of convinced those covers are probably AI. Anyways, those, or fan art you love and puts it into this system that eats it all up and then spits out a new thing. But it's not a new thing because it mashes these things together and it's a mess. Assistive AI is used and trained by a human more so, less on other people's works, to detect things like bank fraud, health patterns, people, your doorbell camera, voice changers. Things like that are assistive AI. They are not generative AI. There is a difference. And I just think not understanding the difference when you're an author is really weird. You're supposed to be good with words and you can't parse the difference in these things? Okay. This is just me continuing to ring the alarm bell about Jessa Hastings for people because this isn't her first go round. This isn't her second go around. This is her third or fourth at this point. She is a member of the Hillsong Church. If you know anything about Hillsong Church, it should ping a red flag for you. If you don't, I recommend you do some research, but she has extremely harmful pro-life takes. She is aggressively pro-life. She has commented on people's posts that Vyvanse feels like cocaine and that's why there's a shortage, because that's the truth for anyone with ADHD. Just very harmful beliefs. She's full of bad takes. And as far as I understand, those books are full of cheating and weirdness, but then ended in HGA, so it's all fine. But yeah, she wanted to tell us how wrong we all are. And honestly, I'm going to put those posts up here for you so you can read them because I think they're kind of funny, and I can't wait to read my Rimba written romance book. Sure, because that's how that works. That's how that works. My spam filter is going to write me a romance book because assistive is the same as generative. Can't wait to read those. It'll be a good time. It'll be a really good time. Maybe I will make us all, royalty. Who knows? Yeah, so Jessa Hastings just continues to be a freaking mess, y'all. I know people love her books. I know she's popular, and I just keep thinking, how did we get here with you and this opinion, these bad opinions? So, but here we are. Next, we have a not fun one. Again, another author, a new to me author, S.C. Principale, something like that. This author has written a Golem romance. It's called The Golem's Bride. They are not Jewish, and the Golem is a key part of the Jewish religion and belief systems stuff, so that's a little weird. And then the Golem has some writing on them in Hebrew. Well, you guessed it. You could never guess where this is going. Yes, the words are wrong. That's right. Instead, the words say slave, and it should say like truth. Author got called out by Jewish readers, like, hey, this is not it, like, yikes, and doubled down and then used like Christian stuff to prove why she was correct. But also in her weird doubling down, I personally think that really flagged it for me is that her defense is that her family survived the Blitz in London, like her great aunts did, and like that's it was a terrible time, World War II, right? The Blitz was terrible, but also like the Blitz was not a targeted attack on identities, and treating it as such is weird. Like, that's weird. Overall with this one, I just wanted to give the heads up. I don't think the book got pulled. It's self-published. I'm sure it's going to exist. This is one that I think people are going to unfortunately probably forget it happened, but I would put her on your list, or at least mark this book as a no thank you. I feel like she could have avoided all of this, pretty much. I don't know, like, if there was truly any true apology issued that I can find anywhere for her, so there's that. And it does look like the author has completely pulled down their threads. So, yeah. But yeah, I just, overall, I'm like, ew. This ties into the conversation, which is like not grabbing random things when you write monster romances. You do have to like dig a little and do your research. This isn't our first run-in with someone appropriating an inappropriate name for their pen name and things like that. So proceed with caution. There'll be 2 segments this week where we discuss She Who Shall Not Be Named stuff. First of all, we have Lady Whistledown's on Threads. If you are on Threads, you may be familiar with her. She kind of got big by summarizing the happenings in the bookish community every week. I've never like super engaged with her. I think I followed her back in the day and kind of ignored it since then because I didn't love some things personally that I noticed in the trend for what she was doing as far as who got targeted at times, it seemed. But this also lightly relates to Lauren's little library as well, who is on BookTok and Bookstagram. I don't normally do like I don't like doing creator specific call outs, but I think this is something that like kind of got so big I can round it up for y'all. Both of these creators attempted to defend their choice to still promote Hermione published fanfiction when the conversations happening have been very heavily on the like please don't. With Lady Whistledown specifically, she was hosting a book club where she would earn commissions from the book sales for Rose and Chains, and she ended up called out by like Don Martin, who also does a lot of call outs on TikTok, and others. She basically posted an entire thread replying to Don and all these people and like, I can't reply right now, I have long COVID and I'm recovering from this, that, the other, which like absolutely fair and valid to be like, hey, I can't reply right now, but also at the same time, sometimes you can just not say anything and then come back when you can. She did delete that post. She has put up an apology. Lauren's Little Library also put up an apology. This is your reminder. It is not our apology to accept if we are not part of the trans community and the community harmed so often by this author whose books are just constantly in the conversation right now, and it's driving me up a frickin' wall. I'm really tired of it. But yeah, these two both like just kind of ended up in deep shit a little bit with people and were kind of doubling down at first and not really listening to the call outs. So I would say overall, like, She posted a big apology thread. Go read that if you're curious. But, you know, I think there's something to be said if you pay attention to some of the trends on how and what she talked about prior to this, that maybe we were overly targeting marginalized groups a little bit in our roundups. I will say that. But again, both of them posted apologies, and people in the trans community have been responding to them and talking to them about stuff. So there's that. I mostly wanted to mention it because, like I said, I feel like this kind of went wider than usual for a Threads thing. But also, I don't know what to think right now at how little people want to listen. Then we have event issues, of course, because what is Romancelandia without event problems? Truly. What is Romancelandia without an event problem? We have 2 events to talk about. First of all, we have Wild and Windy. This has issues because of an author named Lillian Harris making really terrible Islamophobic remarks on stories that people were contacting the event to drop her because they don't feel safe attending and stuff. And like, this is happening, this one I think is in Chicago that this author was attending, which is like a very diverse place. It was really interesting to see them not respond basically and ignore people's concerns to then finally responding and removing Lillian Harris from the event. I have a lot of confidence in their event organizing now. No, probably not if you can't respond to people saying things to you. This was going around for a minute and then it really vanished quickly because Romancecon started to happen. And I want to tell you now, if you would like to skip the Romancecon information, please do. I will have a timestamp. The next section will be irrelevant to this situation because with Romancecon, we are also going to be talking about She Who Shall Not Be Named. A lot about her book, things this group has done. The management company has a name that calls upon the franchise. So if you would like to skip, please do. I'm giving you a second before I dive into Romancecon. And okay, we're going now. So Romancecon is happening in September in Milwaukee. And basically the company name is Mischief Managed, which for me was the first red flag, okay? I don't know who the company name is. This is a con that's been on my list to try. I've been really intrigued by it. We'll see how this year goes because changes have been happening. Basically, out of nowhere, a bunch of authors started dropping from Romancecon. Turns out they were doing promo for Rose and Chains on their Instagram stories and all this stuff about Julie Soto attending. So authors started dropping, like a lot of authors started dropping. And then it comes out that the company that runs Romancecon or that is helping run Romancecon is called Mischief Managed. And this is actually who originally did LeakyCon. So that's wild. I went, what? When I found that out, like I was like, oh, okay. So Julie Soto's new release is being promoted and she's in attendance. Julie did drop from the event. Julie has actually dropped from quite a few events now as we've had things happening with Rose and Chains. And then it comes out that they're also hosting another event later this year or sometime, I don't know when, sometime, I think it's in Colorado, called Enchanticon that has Harry Potter themed panels supposedly put on by attendees, including like dating and like speed dating or speed friending or something. Very questionable naming conventions here for panels. And they're like, well, we let our attendees put these on and like we just wanted a place to celebrate this and also let our supposedly, now I'm not saying these people are not an identity that haven't been harmed by Joanne, but I also just like don't feel super comfortable naming it this. I think you could have some shift on how you name a thing to know that it's that, but without like being that. Do you know what I mean? So Romancecon is now separated from Mischief Managed and has a new person coming on to help. There's a bunch of posts that have went up during all of this also. So they put up posts like saying that Mischief Manage's founder put up a post saying they were separating from the company. That got deleted. Here it is for you if you want to read it real quick. And then the indie bookseller who is also putting on this event put up a post saying like we've pivoted to work with these people and this is what we're doing. And that's that. So I don't know. This could be the last year of Romancecon. I am starting to suspect we are seeing the downfall of reading events personally, like big ones, but we'll see what happens. And another reminder here yet again, please do not accept apologies for the trans community that you should not be accepting. It is not our place. It is not our job. I think that as far as their attempts to make amends and show progress, we're looking decent. But I do think it would be smart if they were to bring on someone within the trans community to consult or something or talk about that. Like they don't have to reveal people specifically, right? But they could say like, we do have this many trans people on our team helping us put together this event and make sure harm is rectified appropriately. Like something should be happening here for that. But I want to make some points in general on this situation overall of what I'm seeing happen around these books and this event, kind of as a mashup of everything. And then we can just not talk about this hopefully again for a while. I'm really hoping this is done at least until September. So a month. I hope so. Anyways, just some things I want to discuss. I think it's really interesting how little people seem to be holding the publishers accountable for picking these books up and like pushing back on Barnes & Noble doing the tables they're doing, on the publisher's choice in the marketing cell for these books. I'm not saying we're not pushing back at all, but I don't think there's a hard enough pushback, and I don't know what that pushback looks like, right? Besides spreading the word, like, don't buy these. But I think there should be some kind of pushback where we're like, please, like, don't do this. I also feel like in a weird way, the conversation is continuing to push Joanne into the brain power of everyone again in a way that I don't love, because I worry that we are centering her too much in the conversation. Not because these books are in some way actually pushing back against the narrative she's crafted, because they're not. This is not the response we've had to Lovecraftian inspirations from a lot of Black authors who have like taken down his terrible beliefs by using things he wrote. But like, I feel like it's fueling also the people who like don't care and just want to support her financially in some capacity. And this, I don't love that at all. The other thing I want to talk about is there's been some, this has been lighter, this has not been a heavy, there's been some responses to blurbs. And I have a couple things I need to say. One, sometimes people don't know what a thing is when they blurb it, okay? I think you have to decide who you're willing to give grace on possibly not knowing that information. And that's your choice as a reader, as a consumer, to make that choice, right? But also, you can pull a blurb, but it's going to take time to come off of print. And these books got massive print runs. So even if the author requests to pull a blurb, you cannot expect that blurb to be gone the next time you see that book, okay? Like, do keep that in mind. So that's the other thing. I also want to say, like, not every author blurbing a book has read the entire book, or read all of the book, or read more than maybe a chapter. Some have read all of it and left it. Do not get me wrong. But a blurb on a book is not always 100% honest, let's say, okay? It's not for every author. It really varies. And we can't ask that question because we don't know. But I always assume that not every blurb is 100% transparent as far as them having fully read the book or even known what it was fully about. That's all I got. The other point I saw here a lot was, why are more people not pulling out of this event? Can I have a list of who pulled out of the event, who's still attending, so I cannot read their books, and this and that and the other. And I just want to say, most authors are not making boatloads of money, okay? Like, that is the rarity, okay? Like, truly the rarity here. They can't always afford to pull out of the event and not attend it. Like, they cannot afford to lose that money, right? Their travel's paid, their hotel's paid, all of this stuff is paid already. And they're just like, you know, they've ordered books. They're like, that's not always a possibility to do, like, pull out of an event. Obviously, in this situation, I think a great option that I saw tossed around was like, offer to promote trans authors at your table as well as your books. You know, see if you can get some bookmarks and things like that to put out, or put out like a rec sheet, something. Like, you could do some stuff like that. But I think we need to remember to use caution when we react to how and who and what people are doing in response to an event having issues. Like, short of the event getting canceled and them getting their money back, it's just not always feasible that everyone can indeed, like, cancel. You know, table fees are not cheap at these events. They are often $500+ to my knowledge. Like, it is not cheap. And then you add on air travel and hotel and all these things, and it's just not always, again, feasible for everyone to leave an event. So use caution when reading these lists or making a list for yourself of who left the event and who still attended and all that, because it's just not as straightforward as you may think it is. So on to even more less fun things. The PR company Wordsmith Publicity asked the street team for a book launch called Shots Fired by Ruth Stilling to specifically report a 1-star review. To the point at which this author blocked the reviewer. So, like, they took the time to find their profiles and block them on socials. And then to have the street team ask people to report the 1-star review. This is not okay. Like, that is a no-go. For me, this author's landed herself on my no thank you list because I'm not going to read an author who wants a street team to report these books and then blocked the reviewer, which to me in a capacity, like obviously you can do what you want to do, but I think there's a level of guilt association in my brain if you're going to block the reviewer. But yeah, this is awful behavior. I hate to see it, but you know, people are going to be dumb, and that's that. Another sad news we have here is Harlequin seems to be shuttering Afterglow books, which has been a really fun imprint to see. They've really centered diverse and underrepresented voices here, and the shuttering seems to just be via email to the authors on that imprint. No formal announcement. So I'm sad to see it go. I'm sad if this is fully true. I'm assuming so. It was an author that posted it that publishes with that imprint, and it seems that it's all like rolling up into Carina for digital publishing. Okay, then we gotta talk about TikTok. We gotta talk about a TikToker. So on TikTok, author Shel Boyers commented on a mom sharing her 17-year-old's senior photos. I'm not gonna show you those pictures because I don't feel comfortable showing you an underage child's photos on this video, but he is like arms crossed, like in a kilt, I think, or something. Like, they're really fun, very fun senior photos, okay? The mom shared this on TikTok. I was just talking about like how proud she is of her son and all this stuff. Well, Shelly decided to comment that booktok, he better watch out for booktok and he could be on a cover of one of her books. And then when called out for this statement, tried to delete and backpedal. This TikToker had saved the comments and responded and basically tore her a new one. I will link to that down below. But when we talk about like the bookish space and like acting like everybody's in community with each other, we're not though, because who thinks that's appropriate to comment on these very apparent this very apparent child, number one, but two, very obviously senior photos, and like the mom's talking about them being senior photos. What do you mean you didn't realize? You knew what you were doing, and it's not okay. This was wild. I was very happy to see how this mother responded to the comments and kind of tore a new one to this author, and I think it was well worth it. On a sad note, again, author Carla Luna has passed away. She passed away July 13th. There is a donation, I think, to a library fund in honor of her passing, but just in case you didn't know, passed. I don't know. It's always sad to see when this happens. It seemed very unexpected from what I could tell. This is going to be another one that you're going to want to skip if you are sensitive to child sexual abuse and mental health issues around suicide. So skip to the next timestamp. If you are, that will be down below. You can just boop forward a little. So please do not engage here if it is too much for you, because this is a lot. This is what I said when I said I needed something to like cleanse the timeline for us, but it's not working. So I have to talk about author Maddison Devlin, or Addison Beck, because my goodness, some really awful things came to light. The first thing I saw on this was promotion for this book, Asmodeus. So she was promoting this book and ARC signups as a dark romance that ends in an HEA, but it has double suicide. And it is a male-male romance, and both characters are going to commit suicide. Did not understand why people were very upset when they were like, that's not a romance. That is not an HEA. That is not. And she was like, well, I'm just being different. It's just a, Romeo and Juliet. No. How many times we heard that? I feel like that could be a bingo square next year, like the Romeo and Juliet or this is an HEA situation. So ARC reviewers then started sharing their shock, and I did not DM for these screenshots. I'm not putting these screenshots on my page. There's no way. I'm good. I'm gonna trust these ARC reviewers. But basically book 2 in the series, this one, the hero in this book, or the love interest or whatever, is actually the person that sexually assaults a character in book 3 when they are 6 years old. So we gave that man an HEA in book 2 and didn't talk about this in any capacity. And you find that out when you read book 3, that this person, one of the boys that kills themselves, is the victim. And then you're marketing all of these as dark romance. And I get so tired. I get so tired of defending dark romance to people. And then people go do this. And it's like, you just don't understand the genre. You don't understand the concept. You don't understand anything if this is your response to it. If this is what you do. You don't understand a thing. Who In what world does it make sense to give a predator an HEA and then to have the outcome be that that character kills themselves in book 3? I do not understand anything about this. I do not understand how this author thought, yeah, this is great. Let me do this. And I think it comes to the point of the people, or the kind of person who thinks, well, I want to write in this genre and everything I do has to be as dark as it can be, and this is just horrific. Yeah, this author earned herself a place very quickly on my no thank you list, and I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just stunned, honestly, at this one. This one took me a few. Like, when I saw this one, I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And that's where I just think, like, sometimes we've lost the plot on what we're writing in our romance books, maybe a little bit. And you can write a dark tragedy. That's fine. But don't sit here and tell me it's a romance. I don't know. This is just heartbreaking all around for me, personally. It's disappointing, as always. All right, next. I have a quick little Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni lawsuit update. Blake Lively's lawyers have subpoenaed 36 content creators and influencers that it appears were paid by Wayfarer Studios to target Blake Lively in a negative light when this lawsuit happened. Shocking, y'all. I'm so unsurprised it's not even funny. But yeah. They did that. Okay, let's talk about some fun, silly stuff before we do my bingo board, because I just feel like, again, I have to find some way to cleanse the timeline for us so we stop repeating the worst nightmares. The worst of the worst every month. So first things first, I want to call out that Toronto Public Library is having a really cool romance lit fest coming up. I will link to it down below. It's called Book Crush. They have a great, truly fantastic selection of authors attending, so if you're in the area, you should check it out. And then I wanted to call out the funniest thing that I have ever seen happen in my entire life. And probably one of the few things this month that I, could not stop giggling about. So, they've started filming The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. Lily Reinhart is starring as our heroine, Olive. And our hero, Adam, is played by Tom Bateman, who is married to Daisy Ridley. And I just need you all to know that this is the funniest thing that could happen. The only thing that would make this funnier for me is if somehow they cast Adam Driver as the villain. Tom or something, I think is his name. I don't remember. Whatever his name is, it would be so funny if Adam Driver played him. It would be so funny. I think I would pass out from laughing. But I just think, this is the funniest thing ever, since this is technically, fanfic-ish. And also, I'm really tickled because I'm just imagining Daisy, giggling. If I was married to him and he was playing the character from I would be cackling. I would be giggling it up. I will not deny this. I think it is the funniest thing to happen in the romance space in ages. This is so funny. So funny. The other thing I want to say is that People We Meet on Vacations movie apparently is coming in January, which I think is so weird on timing, but fine, we're getting it in January, so we'll see how that turns out. Okay, let's talk about bingo. Yes, I forgot the bingo last month. I know, I forgot the bingo last month. I did not mean to forget the bingo, it just happened. So I actually got to check off 2 boxes total since last month and this month. So first of all, Kira Lewis and fanfiction conversation happened. I did not have this conversation here because I didn't think we needed to. Y'all know I am not going to critique fanfic publicly, and y'all know that I don't think that's a good thing, but Kira Lewis is reading a certain popular fic. I'm sure you can guess which one, that's coming out in September, republished, and vlogging it, and I'm assuming critiquing it. Anyways, that entered the combo for a hot second there, and then I forgot about it, but Kira Lewis got a little checkbox. The other one that I checked off is my second Authors in Reviewer Spaces box, because the PR Street Team situation with Ruth Stilling or whatever, I think falls into this completely because she blocked the reviewer, which to me says that she asked the Street Team if they would do this, not the Street Team acting on their own volition. But 2, it just is weird. And I know there's been at least one of those. But yeah, that's what the board looks like now, which is wild. I need to know. This is so surprising to me at how quickly we filled up the board. But we have officially we have 2 full bingos. And honestly, I'm thinking we're going to end up at a blackout before the end of the year. Or close to. Onyx Storm is bad. it seems pretty okay when I went and scrolled Goodreads earlier. I haven't seen a ton of bad takes on it, so I feel like that one's out. But I do think we'll get some Deserves Love, BookTok versus Booksta, Upset. Freitas has to pop up again. Authors and Review Spaces, I bet I'll have that one by next month, and I'm sure we will have another Race Faker. Like, that's guaranteed to happen. So cheating scandal's iffy, but yeah, I think we're gonna see quite a few more squares fill up. So I'm excited for 2026's bingo board. Anyways, yeah, so if you made it this far, let me know your thoughts on everything. If you think I missed something, etc. If you don't do any of that, you can leave me a soda emoji. I'm literally going to go drink some Diet Coke now while I import all this footage. So you can do that down below. Also, if you are interested in early access to Romancelandia, you can do that down below. There is a Romancelandia supporter tier for my Patreon and YouTube membership. Feel free to join, have some fun times with us, hang in the Discord, all that good stuff. Otherwise, I'll have links to my friend anywhere on the internet that I am, and links to everything I talked about that I can link to. I will catch y'all in just a few days in my next video. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we